Okay, we're now on air, Eric. Hi, John.
Hello.
Eric has headed to the basement.
Okay. Jesus. All right. Boom. Here we go. Woo! Yeah. Okay. Hello.
There he is.
All here. Y'all witnessing the magic. Wait a minute. Where are we at? Come on, screen. Screen, hello. It's gonna work right? Screen, let's go. How about now? No. How about now? How about now?
We see you now. We see you now.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking at, but hello, thank you for Matt Jews Produce. That's John. That's John Anilli. We got Michael Komarov and special guest. There's Dave. Hello.
Hey, Dave.
Hello,
Long time
gentlemen.
no see. How you doing?
And yeah, this is your Massachusetts Beer Reviews, and today is a not Wild Card Wednesday. It's a Tuesday. So John came up with Tasting Room Tuesday one time. So here we are on doing a Tasting Room Tuesday, and yeah, just Wild Card themed as pretty much usual. So I guess we'll start with John and see what beer he's brought for the examination.
All right. Well, I've got a beer from Terrapin Beer Company out of Athens, Georgia. This is their Luau Crunkles IPA. It says passion fruit, orange, and guava IPA. A little bit about this beer. It is 6.5% alcohol, 72 IBUs. The hops that they use are Columbus, Cascade, Centennial, Simcoe, Citra, Galaxy, Amarillo. And then they dry hop it with Amarillo, Citra, Galaxy, and Simcoe as well. And the malts are I know, right? And the malts are two-row pale, Ashburn, Cara Pilsner, wheat, and honey malt. And this is a year-round availability product. And Terrapin, you guys probably know this. I don't know about Michael, but maybe Eric, you can get some of these beers. But Terrapin has got pretty good distribution across the eastern U.S. So there you go.
Okay. Excellent. What are you bringing tonight, Michael?
I have Brooklyn Lager.
All right.
Which is a hoppy amber lager, 5.2%. I believe these are still brewed in Utica at Saranac, but they do brew their kegs in Brooklyn, New York. I think this is still brewed in Utica, as far as I know. They also have a brewery in Sweden now.
How adventurous.
They're going for it.
I like it.
Doing good.
I'm looking for a bottle opener of some type, because mine's not working right now. Well, what are you drinking, Dave? Come on, Dave.
Well, tonight exactly, since I've been a little rusty exactly with these kind of things, I figured I'd up the weaponry and a welcome back exactly. Congress Street exactly, the IPA from Trillium. So we're dealing basically with a 7.2 ABV, not something to shy away from, and I figured it'd be a nice little welcome back as it kind of is, and straight out of Canton, Massachusetts too as well, and also the brewery too as well in Boston, Mass. So, not a bad start. Eric, what you got here?
I'm going to use a Tom opener to open this beer because I'm crazy. This is a Golden Drac 9000 that I was planning on bringing for the European beer examination that now Jay will be hosting on Wednesday. So I don't think I might have had Golden Drac once. I don't think so. It's 10.7, and it's done by that Van Steenberg Brewery out in this country of Belgium.
Very good stuff.
So yeah, I'm going to open this. And maybe not. All right, I'm acquiring bottle opener.
Eric is going to attempt to open it.
Yeah, I guess. I'll acquire machine.
So, Dave, what have you been up to in these few months since we've seen you last?
Well, these past few months, besides working 3 jobs too as well, many of you guys, some of you might know, basically, I work for a professional soccer club that plays over at Gillette Stadium. So that's been pretty busy with most of my time. I also build concert stages too as well, so that's been enjoyable. Let's see here. I also was doing full-time work over at Ahold USA, and then I moved over to Fusion Worldwide in Boston, Mass. And I recently got laid off basically by Fusion. I guess they couldn't really do math so over there for the finance department. So I'll be a free agent for a little bit, and hopefully I should be back in business in hopefully the next coming weeks.
That's good.
Great.
So,
all right, here I go. You found a bottle opener.
Oh.
Eric, we know you can open it.
I just did. I found a bottle opener. I said, screw it.
All right.
The Swiss Army knife, it was too thin for this bottle cap. But, yeah, I guess since I'm the host, I will let others speak about what they've got. So if you do want to start, Michael, go right ahead.
Okay, I'll go first if you want. This is what the pour looks like of the Brooklyn Lager. I guess you'd call it kind of a reddish with kind of like an orange hue to it. It's not really deep red. It's kind of like a light reddish orange.
So not really kind of like Killian's kind of red?
Yeah,
not really?
like Killian's red kind of color. And there's a heavy bubble stream, so there's lots of carbonation, very thin off-white head.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good looking beer. And you're getting a lot of the kind of amber kind of hops in the nose. I didn't look to see what the specific hops were, but I assume it would be kind of more of your non-hoppy hops, even though they calling it a hoppy amber lager, which means it might have some of the more hoppier hops in it. But the nose is probably more malty than hoppy.
Okay.
Anyway.
What is that Brooklyn Lager tasting like right about now?
I didn't taste it yet. You want me to go ahead with that? I will.
Sure. Cheers. Salud. Got a lot of head on this one, dude.
Well, I'm getting some of the hops in the flavor profile, which I guess is not that unusual. It's like a combination. I think it's a Marzen type beer, so it has the kind of European taste profile, more hoppy, but with some malt and the hop combination in the taste. Very drinkable. I like it. I've had this before, obviously, but I haven't had it in a while.
Yeah. Okay.
I think this is still their flagship beer, right? Pretty much.
I would, and so yeah.
Very good. I like it. I'll come
so
back
far,
with a number
so good
later.
So far, so good from Michael Komarov. All good stuff. Again, we'll come back to everybody as we normally do for the final taste and thoughts and ratings of the beers. So, without further ado, let's hear about John Anele's beer. Remind us which beer you're drinking once again, good sir.
All right. I'm drinking the Terrapin Luau Crunkles Passion Fruit Orange Guava IPA.
Okay.
6.5%, 72 IBUs, and of course all those hop varieties that I mentioned earlier. It poured with about a finger and a half ahead, which has died down a little bit as I started sipping on it, but you can see there's some really nice lacing around the glass. The aroma is very fruit forward. Definitely orange and guava. Not so much passion fruit, but then again, I don't have too much experience with passion fruit, so it's very likely that it's in there. I'm just not detecting it as much because I'm not as familiar with that fruit, but definitely nice and fruity. A little bit of a malt pickup, like a bready note, but very fruity, very, very nice and tropical fruity. So cheers.
Cheers. Bang. Right back at you.
Yeah. And the taste follows the nose. It's got orange and guava are the first two things that you're picking up on. it's really fruity. It's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily juicy like the Juicy Haze IPA I had yesterday. As you can see, the appearance, it's a very thin, it's not thick and oaty or whatever like the New England IPA I had the other day, but it's still very fruit forward and enjoyable. There is a noticeable bitterness on the finish. I mean, 72 IBUs is getting up there, but it's very well balanced. It's nice and sweet and malty, and then you get all those nice tropical fruit notes, and then the bitterness on the finish to balance it out. So my first thoughts are that this is a really, really good IPA, and I'll keep sipping on it. But yeah, definitely a winner. And look at that can art, guys. Isn't that pretty cool?
Trippy.
Pretty trippy can art.
Trippy.
I like it.
What do you think, Dave? You got a world-class IPA going on in your glass right now? What do you think?
I think I do. I think actually Yarmouth's right there. But again, I'm having a Congress Street India Pale Ale from Trillium Brewery, both located exactly in Canton, Mass, and also in Boston, Mass. So looking at 7.2 for your ABV. So the first thing that I noticed as soon as I poured this was that the head actually dissipated extremely fast. So that's just something worth of note. It lasted maybe all of the total of, I'd say maybe about 2.5 seconds, and then it fizzed away real quickly. So not much for a head for it. So just going to put that down for a straight up note. For looking at exactly for the color wise, I mean, it's got more of that orangish, basically like hazy kind of color to it. You can definitely not see basically through the liquid itself, so extremely hazy. For the nose wise, I mean, I'm definitely getting more of that floral grapefruit kind of feel for it. Definitely for the original like smell for it. So I guess we'll get down basically to what everyone really cares about, it's taste. So,
salute.
Cheers, Dave.
David. Oh, that's pretty good, David.
I think pretty good doesn't cut it.
Oh,
this is phenomenal, actually.
Oh, you heard it first.
Well, see, what makes it so interesting for me is that you know, when I kind of grew up on having IPAs, I think the first IPA I ever had was a Harpoon IPA.
Probably.
So I think we could probably say the exact same thing almost.
Probably.
So trying basically that recipe from Harpoon to having something out of Congress Street is very, very different. Considering exactly, I feel that the bitterness so much for Harpoon is way up there. But this is more of a palatable like beverage too as well. A lot smoother to the taste too as well. And definitely a lot more full and more rich basically for the feeling of it too. You definitely can well pronounce it more or less that grapefruit feel for it, which is not so much of a detracting factor, but more or less an inviting basically feel for it too as well.
Okay.
It comes down to the entire idea of it, I mean, lingering almost too as well. I mean, I'd say it lingers probably on the mouthfeel for maybe about 6-7 seconds.
Yep.
But it's one of those things that, you know, it'll constantly invite you back for. So I'd say, I mean, what I'm having right now for an IPA, it's top marks.
All right. Those top marks will be explained in his final thoughts and grades when we come back to Mr. Dave. So, Dave, yeah, Congress Street, cool.
Yep.
So, again, my thing I was going to do when the Wednesdays were still a thing, and now for other reasons it can't be right now, but we're here, tasting room, doing my European beer I was going to use. Golden Rock 9000.
What a beer.
Quadruple. 10.7. Golden Drac 9000 quad with an exceptional and complex taste, sensation, and a deep golden amber blonde color. Ode to the city of Gallant with the golden dragon on top of the bell tower. All right, epic.
So, question for you real fast.
Yeah.
With the ABV on that, is that here the Imperial grade?
I would probably say this is an Imperial style of beer most of the time. I put it in a tulip glass. I see a lot of tulip glasses being used for that beer, and definitely you're getting this nice, creamy, fluffy, sticky-looking kind of head and lacing to it. Definitely some orangey notes, but it's definitely a very dark, orangey, almost purplish kind of color, to be completely honest.
Like a weird, like, low amber almost.
Yeah, amber blonde-like, I guess, right?
I'd say so, yeah. Kind of got that Irish red kind of feel to it as we were kind of talking about that.
Really, really dark. Yeah, and it has this almost minerally, well-watery kind of a smell to it. A lot of dark raisins, dark cherries, figs, plums, the purplish, redder fruits. Getting a lot of candy-like, sugary notes to it. Getting really like toasty, brown bready, molasses, sweet notes to it. And I mean, maybe some wine, dark wine, and almost woody kind of quality. So it smells very earthy and interesting. So cheers. Salud.
Cheers. I think that's a world-class beer. I've had it. It's an awesome quadruple.
Yeah, it's got a really big, chewy caramel toffee-like note initially, mixed with those dark cherries and figs and plums and raisins to it. I'm definitely getting that minerally, watery kind of
A grape kind of feel to it? Or?
sort of. It has. That's the way that the water is tasting to me, almost water-ish in a way. Minerally is, I guess, is the word to use.
So, question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say kind of the feel for, I mean, would you say it's aged kind of that? I mean, more of that wine kind of profile, exactly? It's been
Yeah,
aged
whiny is probably a really great description. I don't know what the age, particularly on this beer, is. It says 128Q, whatever that means on the side of the bottle.
It's been sitting for a bit or something like that, or?
Maybe, perhaps. But the other thing I'm getting, I am getting that toasty caramel, toasty malt in there, a little bit of molasses, brown sugary sweetness to it.
Seems like a complex profile.
Again, a little bit of a woody note. Maybe there's a little bit of a coconuttiness to it for me on the palate. I would actually say this is on the high side of medium. Some people could call it full-bodied. It's sweet, not cloyingly sweet. It's very carbonated. It's great for what it is. Well attenuated and refreshing, not really, but I'm not really finding it a giant chore to drink. So far, yeah, hell yeah, that's a good quadruple right there. And you know what's good? We got Gabriel Salaya in the house. What's up, sir?
Just here.
What are you drinking this evening with the boys, Gabriel?
Goose Island IPA.
All right. Boom
I like the
shakalaka.
new label design that they have there. It's pretty
That's
New
really
sweet.
label?
sharp looking. You got a can of that, yeah.
No, bottle.
Ah, okay. It is a sharp looking bottle label right there. All right. Would you care to give us a brief rundown and taste of your beer, Gabriel?
Can you read the label?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The back, where it say?
Sort of.
Well, we saw the Goose Island IPA part, but
Yeah.
pour that sucker up, Gabe.
It says. It says your mouth is for drinking IPA, not for talking about drinking IPA. That's what it says.
That's what Patriots winners drink IPAs. All right, New England.
Okay. Let's see what.
He's our correspondent in the great area of Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, we got some friends actually down in Arizona.
All right.
Right.
Remember Lance Azevedo moved out to Arizona,
All right.
and Napoleon, or Nappy, exactly as it's called, exactly, is currently located in Arizona as well.
We got friends in Arizona too, Gabe.
All right.
New
I
England
got
as we get around.
Budweiser. This is a Budweiser IPA.
It's definitely an
no.
InBev product. We're aware.
No, but the company is.
Yes, we're aware.
Gabriel,
Just
say- got a great
Just say it's a
review.
Budweiser IPA.
shows continue to progress.
I have an InBev
All right.
checker in my head. I know exactly what they own.
Pretend it's a Budweiser IPA.
Got it.
How's this Budweiser IPA taste? Let's hear it. Come on, man. Let's go. Woo!
Doesn't
It
come
tastes
up
like
with-
Budweiser, but hoppier.
Okay.
All right, great
That's a good
description.
description.
Tastes like
All right.
Budweiser, but hoppier.
Cool. You got a rating for that?
A lager, hoppier.
No, number rating.
I don't know. I'll say 5.
5 out of 100. Shitty beer. All right, good.
Okay, I'll maybe
Oh, no,
say
5.
70.
What
7
was that,
out of
Gabriel?
I'll say 75.
Okay.
All right. We get right down to the nitty gritty with you eventually.
It's not
Gabriel.
shitty beer.
Okay.
It's beer.
Okay, all right. So you like it.
So what are you thinking? Who do I want to go to first? Let's go to John and Ellie. What are you thinking? How's the beer? How's your rating? What's your thoughts? What's going on?
I'm loving it, and even though it's a little higher, it's 72 IBUs. As you can see, it's going down really smoothly. I had to, force myself to save a sip for the final rating here, but it's very enjoyable. It's got nice malt character, and it has a definite, really nice tropical fruit notes all the way throughout. It's perfectly balanced, and I don't mind the bitterness as long as you have the tropical fruits. I don't necessarily like the bitterness from the grapefruit flavors and like super piney dank bitterness.
Right.
And this one's like light. It's bitter, but it's lightly bitter because of the tropical fruits. Kind of livens it up and makes it more easy drinking. I think it's an A. I think it's a solid A.
Yeah, very well.
A pretty solid A. It's not quite as good as the New Belgium Juicy Haze I had the other day, but I'm going to go with a 94 out of 100.
94, huh?
If you like tropical fruit notes from the hops, then this is the beer for you because you definitely get the nice tropical fruit notes. It's easy drinking, as you can see, and it's just a great beer.
Dave just tried Golden Drop 9000. He said kind of watery. Holy crap, Dave.
If you think that's watery, I don't know, man, you're going to be hard to please.
Dave, are you hard to please when it comes to beer?
Oh, I am very hard to please, except when it comes down to beer. I mean, you should know this above anything else, Tommy boy.
Piney and grapefruit.
That's what you got in your beer.
Right.
So, Gabriel, I probably wouldn't like that one as much because it has two of the flavors in IPAs that are definitely not my favorite.
Yours a little bit more smooth, like almost that water.
England style IPA. English style.
English, correct.
With some wheat notes in it.
And you would still go with that 75 out of 100 on that beer, correct?
You want me to go higher?
You can go wherever you want with it.
It's your choice, Gabriel. We don't want you to go higher unless you want to.
I'm just wondering if you're still going to stick with your rating.
Stick with your rating and feel comfortable about it.
Yeah, stick with your 75. Keep it. Well, that was your thought. Okay. We'll go with it. I do want to hear. I know the Brooklyn brewery beers are very popular because yes, you're in Brooklyn, Michael Komaroff. But what's your thoughts on Brooklyn Lager? Drinking it right now and today.
I'm going to give it an 88, which is a B+.
Okay. All right.
John and I were discussing Brooklyn beers a couple of days ago, and they do have a lot of beer that are kind of more middle of the road. But a B+ is a good rating for a beer. It's not like I'm saying it's not great. It's good and good plus.
And Michael, we were
flagship. This beer was the first one for a while when they first came out. This was the only beer they had. So then now they have a full line. So I think
if you ask our buddy Jay Terrio, he would say that a B+ just ain't cutting it anymore. Oh.
I mean, everyone can't be world class. They all can't be And Dave, I have never had a Trillium in my career. So I'm really I feel it. But that's nice. I've had a Treehouse. I've had a Treehouse though, but never a Trillium.
In your backyard?
You have no idea what you're missing.
No, I've heard Eric has described several.
You have a tree yard in your backyard?
Really good. So I'm sure I would like it.
Tree yard. Oh boy.
So Michael, you do like the Brooklyn Lager though better than Sam Adams Boston Lager, correct?
I do, and I think if I remember what I gave the Sam Adams, I gave it like an 86. But I mean, it depends on how you like the taste. If you like the difference,
yeah.
Well, I've had the Brooklyn Lager and I've had Sam Adams, and I'll be the first one to actually agree exactly real fast too as well. I prefer actually the Brooklyn over the Sam Adams.
I think I would agree with that.
I mean, there are a few other styles of the Sam Adams that I probably prefer at that point. The Oktoberfest is an amazing beer. However, it comes out in traditional lager-wise. I say that Brooklyn beats it out.
Yeah. Vienna-style lagers right there.
Do it in old school. Just do it old school. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. So if you do have to rate, I think Dave is dying to figure out for you all a Trillium Congress Street rating. Where you at on this one? Where you feeling? How you doing? Let's go.
Here's the thing, too, as well. And some people actually might ask, I can simply say, hey, Dave, you have a lot of beer in your glass. What the hell is going on? And I'll be the first one to say that this beer is actually one of the best beers I've ever had. And it comes to a unique question because you're going to ask, like, Dave, how come you even killed it real so fast? It's almost a sin to kill a beer that's so good so quickly because you'd forget it too fast and then you'd want it again. So when it comes down to this overall like beverage too as well, and my rating for it, and yeah, I'm probably one of the, and even you could say I'm probably a very harsh critic when it comes down to beer.
Yeah, for good reason.
I mean, it either hits my mark or it doesn't, and I have no problem simply saying when a beer sucks, and that's just keeping it brass tacks here. However, in this current point in time and in this day, for this Congress Street, I have no problem rating it in the 94 out of 100.
Boom, shots fired.
The reason being, too, as well, and one thing is I want to say, if you ever get the chance actually to try Trillium actually beverages, too, as well, they are fantastic. Congress Street, it's definitely one of the staples that it's a household favorite.
Sure is.
But what you kind of notice, too, as well, is that the craftsmanship and everything that goes into this beverage is just done so meticulously well, it's almost scary. And even Eric will probably agree, too, as well, that finishing a beer like this so fast would be a sin. So I have no problem rating this a 94 out of 100. And it's very palatable. And yet again, if I was able to get this on tap anywhere, I'd probably order this all day long with probably a steak and not give a damn about the rest of the world.
A steak, yeah. There you go. Oh, damn. All right. The great Orador, David. Golden Rock 9000 requires 9,000 out of 100 rating. No. The head, I mean, as I'm drinking this, I'm really enjoying this mouthfeel. It's sort of like desserty without being overly sweet, but it has those caramel toffee figgy notes to it. That's sort of like a, what do they say in English Christmas songs? Figgy pudding?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah, it's kind of figgy pudding a little bit.
So can I pop up the question?
Yeah.
Dessert beer, question mark, question mark?
It could be used as an aperitif, or not an aperitif, sorry, a digestive after a big meal. You could have it with some dessert, with a cake or a fruit pie or something like that, and it will taste really good. I think it would be good with the steak. It is sweet, but it's not cloyingly sweet. I do like that the head kind of almost gives it a creamy mouthfeel to offset on some of those minerally kind of notes that I'm getting in the beer.
Hey, you still got some sugar in there. So
yeah, and it lingers around a little bit, again, without being too cloying. I don't know how to describe a sugary beer without being cloying, but this is it.
It's very palatable, I'd say.
I'm just going to go with everybody else today and just go 94. Why not? This is pretty, awesome beer. Now, I'm sure in the back of my brain there are more drier versions of quadruples. In the back of my brain, the St. Bernardus App 12 rings into my mind as it's not quite as sweet as that beer. Or caramel toffee kind of sweet in the malts. But if you do like a sweeter caramel, darker, fruitier beer, this Golden Drac 9000 or Drac is, that's the one to try. I think it's $6 or $7 for one of these.
Yeah.
I think it's an 11.2 ounce bottle. But even if it's not, 11.2 ounce bottle, it's still good enough for a 12 or it's good enough for one serving at 10.7%. So.
Yeah, it'll give you a good glass full. I mean, one thing when I was kind of looking at when you were pouring it too as well, it did give a lot of head exactly for it immediately. I know it's something that dissipated real fast too as well.
You can see where it started there, right?
I guess one of my questions that I have for you exactly, Eric, right off the bat, is that, the sessionability of this beverage too as well. I mean, I have some concerns about exactly, could you sessionably drink this beer an entire day, or just
No. I could drink 2 of these easily. You do have to wait some time, after you eat big food, you do have to wait until you feel full. I think you will have to wait a couple of minutes or 10, 20 before you start feeling a little bit under the weather from the 10.7. But it is fairly easy drinking for what it is. But yeah, creep up on you, as Dave is suggesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I call it Zerk Bomb at that
yeah, I guess. So does anybody else have any other thoughts about their beer? What's going on in beer? What's going on in Brooklyn, New York with the beer community on Thursday nights? How's that going?
Or you need
That's
challenges
going fun.
here and there.
Dave, every once a month on the first Thursday of every month, I have a regular group of people who come over to my house, and I won't say we get inebriated, but we at least feel no pain by the time we're finished. And it's a big group, and it can rate anywhere from like 7 to like 12 people. And we rate these various beers and drink them, and it's interesting. I'm the host, so I provide probably 2/3 of the beers, and the other third are provided by the individuals who come. And we rate them by style, but it's still all a cumulative rating system. So you're not rating a lager against an IPA. You're rating it by its own individual beer, and then at the end we figure out which one's the best one. But,
overall,
it should be interesting because unless people cancel at the last minute, we're expecting a big crowd on Thursday, which would be really good.
Some people would say you're in a high elitist class by hosting all of these once a month and bringing these rare, expensive beers all the time.
Well,
is that true or false?
It's fun. James earlier today picked on the people at Stoutfest that I went to and said that they were all elitists. Whatever. I mean, whatever he said, it's on the internet. Anybody can read it. But James doesn't have a filter anyway. But that's a separate story, and he can say whatever he wants.
I think he's just bitter right now that the Saints couldn't make the Super Bowl. So let him go for a bit.
James and Jay, two separate individuals. You have not met our buddy James yet. You may like him. You may not. We'll introduce you to James later. But James, yes,
same off filter. Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, you would like him.
He's opinionated. People can be opinionated if they want to be.
I love people. I love them to death.
I think it's fine. And he also wears a jester's cap and rings bells, so he kind of an interesting sort.
Yeah. He's from New Jersey. You love New Jersey.
He's from New Jersey, which might explain it.
Yeah.
I have a deep love for the state of New Jersey too, as well. The northern part, where the Johnson chemical factories are, not so much. Central and southern too, as well. It's all country and farmland. It's kind of hard to get mad at anything that was under around.
So cool. John Anili, what's going on in the John Anili Beer Channel? What's going on with Beer Chats? What's up? Let people know.
Well, I've been getting into some more local craft beers. I mean, Terrapin's pretty local. It's here in Georgia. Yeah. With this one, I've got a few other ones I'm going to review pretty soon. Terrapin makes some good stuff, and they have good enough distribution. You might not be able to get this, but the Hopsecutioner, that's a big one. That
has in our area for Terrapin.
At all? It's not in your area? What'd you say, Eric?
I said I haven't seen Terrapin yet. But that doesn't mean they're not on the verge of knocking down our doors like bells.
Well, they are growing pretty rapidly, and they're spreading all along the East Coast. Up near you guys. I'm just really getting into a lot of these local craft beers. There's another really good brewery, Burnt Hickory Brewery. I've got a few stouts from them that I'm gonna try. I'll probably bring one to Stout Sunday and. Anyway, yeah, just enjoying some great craft beers here lately.
Cool. Gabriel, what you been drinking lately?
This beer.
He's been drinking.
What was the last beer you had? What was the last beer you had?
Taking it too literally. What have you been drinking in general?
Yeah.
I had the Keystone Ice.
Keystone Ice, one of my favorites.
Made with corn syrup.
First time.
Yeah. Brewed with corn syrup.
Yes.
No, wait a minute. As Jay would say, and all the brewers would say, the brewer's syrup, the dextrose.
How the commercial will say.
The commercial will say, watch Game of Thrones on HBO.
Did everybody like the commercial where they did bring up the
No.
the brewer's syrup, so to speak.
No,
in
they're
the,
making fun of it.
Yeah.
I thought it was
I mean,
pretty.
They're
Yeah,
mocking them.
I think there's going to be a lot of backlash from that, from the other, from the
I think
beers
you're
that they
right.
were attacking.
I think you're right.
yeah,
I guess
our local NBC here in south of us, south of Dave and I in Rhode Island, had a thing on when I got home from work about all the local craft breweries in Rhode Island, and as you guys know from me drinking and talking to you guys, they are exploding in Rhode Island. Everybody's talking about that stuff, and it's just another way to fill the another way to get a fermentable sugar into your beer, not spend a giant boatload amount of money to sort of lighten up the taste a little bit. However, they acknowledge that most people that homebrew or most people that start brewing for the first time are going to use corn syrup. It's just a cheap way to do it. I haven't started brewing yet. I have the equipment. I got the home brewing book. I got to read it, get going on that. But to expect that the first beer you're ever going to brew, or the most cost-effective way to ever brew a beer, is to do an all malt beer and not some extract, which would include a corn syrup, or honey or something like that, is just crazy. So, I mean, on a big, large national scale, just buy whatever you want. I just don't know that there are just generic beer drinkers that are really thinking about it that intently, like they think Bud Light drinkers do. I don't know. You have a thought on that, Michael Kormeroff?
I just think it's more widely used by home brewers than people would think, even though I think all home brewers don't do that. But I mean, they do. I'm sure some do use it.
But do you think that the mass majority of, just your typical beer drinker is really even thinking about, oh, my beer's got corn syrup, oh, I'm not going to drink that?
Not your typical macro drinkers, but maybe more of your craft drinkers are thinking of that, I think.
Is that your thought? Do you mirror that thought there, John?
Yeah, I think your average beer drinker doesn't even know about rice and corn adjuncts. Honestly, I just think they like the beer. It tastes good. It's made with grains, and that's about it.
Is that your thought, Dave?
Well, I have two actually different ways I should think about this. The reason being is that, my first thought is, since I really don't have any allergies whatsoever, I can enjoy basically a beer whatsoever, exactly it comes out for its form.
Yeah.
However, people with unique allergies and concerns too as well, those are the kind of people too as well, and I hate to put them in their own separate class too as well, but they will spend the time actually learning a little bit more about the ingredients putting into the beer, because the last thing you want to do is brew something to the point that you can't drink it. That'd be the worst feeling absolutely in the world.
Yes.
So, it can kind of go either way, depending on the uniqueness of the allergy itself, if it does permutate.
Agreed.
I've had gluten-free beers and beers brewed with sorghum, and for the most part, they are awful. So if people have wheat allergies, they almost have to not drink beer. They have to drink cider or some alternative, because unless you don't mind. Now, maybe some people would like sorghum or gluten-free. I can't say nobody would.
I don't think I've ever had a beer from this company called Omission Brewing Company, but I think that they brew beers that are gluten-free. Is that right, Dave?
They do.
Are they okay?
That might be a way to do it. I don't know.
Beers? I've never had one.
What's your thought?
For me, I'm more of a dark beer kind of guy, so it becomes a unique challenge for me and my palate. However, for a person that's looking to have, an adult beverage, I would definitely have to give it the nod. Exactly, yes, it is good beer for it. However,
for what it is, right?
But for my palate, exactly, and for the ways that I approach things too as well, it just would not go
suffice.
It wouldn't suffice for me. But yet again, it's a very good substitute, and yet again, I take my hat off to you guys.
It does what it's supposed to do in a good way. Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to try it. I can get it at my food co-op. I've seen it. I'll have to try one.
Definitely worth it.
Gabriel, do you have any thoughts on Dilly Dilly, Game of Thrones, Bud Light, and corn syrup today?
It's okay.
Corn syrup and Bud Light's okay. All right. All right. No, I like to mirror that thought. Yeah, it's just okay. I don't buy it all the time. Bud Light, they're saying doesn't. Obviously, the commercial makes a reference to the fact that Miller Lite and Coors Light does. So I don't know how to even get away with that in using Miller Lite's name and Coors Light's name just like that on free range.
They got permission?
No, they
I don't
definitely
know.
didn't get permission.
They must have. Yeah, I get permission to rip you a new one on the Super Bowl. All right, great.
No, they can if their lawyers think they can be sued because they used the name, but the name you can use, it has to be accurate what they said. I assume both the companies probably do use the corn syrup in their beer, and they won't say
and the corn industry,
true.
The Corn Growers Association of America are really bent out of shape about it, but you just have to be a consumer and choose what the hell you want to ingest into your body and do whatever you want. All right.
What did they do 2 or 3 years ago, Budweiser, where they took on craft beer and I'm trying to think what it was exactly they did. They were talking about which beer, flavored beer.
All craft beer. They were attacking all craft beers. They basically were pairing Budweiser with burgers and saying, "This is America." They had American flags all throughout the commercial, and they were saying, "This isn't your." Fit on and orange. Yeah, I mean, they were basically saying that Budweiser was refreshing and easy to pair with anything, and all these craft beers are not traditionally American. Like they don't represent America like Budweiser does, because Budweiser started it all. That type of thing.
But
it was a lot of blowback from the craft beer community with that commercial.
And they've been buying
Basically, they're trying to say that it's not meant to be put in a glass like this and swirled around and smelled. And it doesn't have the smell of a pumpkin patch ale or something like that, basically.
Yes,
wow, I remember that going. Yeah.
They bought Goose Island.
And they were pairing it with all these different foods, and they were basically saying that craft beer is, you can't really drink it with a pizza and a burger, that type of thing,
Yeah, well, bullshit on a lot of that. However, even what John does and what I do, and then when Michael Komaroff joins us and what Gabriel joins us, I mean, yeah, have some fun, watch the review show, watch the examination, get something out of it, maybe get an idea of, okay, I saw that beer at a store. It sounds interesting. Maybe I want to buy it. But don't listen to us like we're the gospel. I'm not saying don't listen to us because this is a fun show. However, don't listen to us like we're the gospel. We are telling you from our taste buds where we're rating beers and how we're enjoying the beer that's in our glass. We might seem crazy to you. We might seem crazy to some Canadians that think that we're an awful program. Whatever. We review things in the way that we do, and it's very subjective. Anything beer reviewing related is all subjective. So take it with a grain of salt. If it helps you, it influences you in a positive way to try some new beers and find beers that you like because you saw our review channel. I think we all appreciate that at the end of the day. Is that right?
That's right. John, Tyler was here briefly at minute 1 and said hello, and then he just left. I don't know what happened to him.
Really?
Yeah, he was here at the very beginning.
I'm going to go. I think we're pretty good. I'm going to go up and they'll go up to the second floor of my house and turn off the computer version of the broadcast. I am with Dave on the cell phone here. That's why my other side of me is sort of faded out right now. But again, I'm Thomas Metal 75, Masters of Beer Reviews channel of YouTube. That is Dave.
Hey.
He sometimes makes nachos. Really good.
It's not your beer review. It's my beer review.
Gabriel Salaya joined us. Michael Komaroff from Brooklyn, New York joined us. And John Anele from Noonan, Georgia joined us. So until next time, y'all get a couple of seconds to chat before I turn off the chat. But keep tasting those great beers. Cheers. We'll see you soon. Whether it's next Tuesday on my channel or Thursday, I don't know, but we will always collaborate on when to do that. So you chat for a few seconds before we go off air. Cheers.
Okay.
So one thing I kind of want to touch upon a little bit too as well, it seems that Budweiser picking a unique fight too as well, the craft beer community. I'll be the last person in the world to say exactly what beverage that you should be drinking or what beverage exactly should be preferred more than another. But something I find very, very unique too as well is that, if I was to buy a 30 rack, Budweiser regular too as well, or Bud Heavy, sometimes they want to basically call it too as well. I could probably get that for something around between, I don't know, 22 to what, $25. Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
So,
Mhm.
at a reasonable, basically, be able to try something new. I mean, couldn't you spend the extra, I don't know, $2 or $3? Try
What's
a
up,
unique
David?
beer. Yo, try a unique beer that you've never tried before, because some of the adventure, basically, of trying different beverages too, as well, is experimentation. And yet again, what's the worst that's going to happen at the end of the day? You simply say, hey, I tried this new beer from this new company too as well. I didn't like it so much, but you know what? At least now I can say that I know I don't like it. And one thing I will always say about, trying unique craft brews is that you never know exactly when you find that perfect gem that comes along. And yet again, it sparks basically like the curiosity in your head of how much more basically you might not realize that's out there. Because anyone can go basically across the street to as well buy a 6 pack or 3 pack of Budweiser, no harm, no foul to as well, or Bud Light or Coors Light or Miller Light. But yet again, experimentation is something that it should always be strived for, because the objective of brewing beer exactly is to try something new and how to make it better. So without the unique feedback, how do you make something of what it is better in the next basically batch or phase?
Agreed.
Chemist, when you say.
I agree with that.
Off-air discussions. Here we go. Cheers, everybody.